Hey there, and welcome to my channel, The Paper Bag Investor, where we try and find the next multi-bagger investment. But today's video, we're actually looking at specifics of how to buy Bitcoin in your tax-free savings account. So this video is exclusively for Canadians, really especially for them, of how to buy Bitcoin in your TFSA, your tax-free savings account. I've done a number of other videos on the tax-free savings account and why I feel for Canadians it is one of the great investing opportunities. It's one of the greatest investing vehicles out there, really anywhere in the world. And if you think long-term with your investments in your tax-free savings account and think strategically, it really can be a life-changing investing tool, investing platform as your gains compound and grow inside of it. And Bitcoin could be something that possibly you would consider investing in there as well. And there's a way to do it. So this video will explain that. So first off, why buy Bitcoin in your TFSA? Well, to avoid capital gains, because you don't pay taxes on the gains in your TFSA, and you don't pay taxes even as the gains snowball and grow in your TFSA over time, so don't pay those taxes. Also, as I sort of mentioned, there's other videos on the tax-free savings account that I've done. There'll be a playlist link in the description if you're interested in that. And it's one of the most powerful investing vehicles out there. And also, you want to put Bitcoin in your TFA, you might want to do it just because it's more simple. Simplicity. It avoids the wallets, the keys that are common with cryptocurrency. Some of those complications. In this case, you just simply buy Bitcoin ETF, exchange traded fund, in your brokerage account, and you're done. And so how to buy Bitcoin in your TFSA, here's kind of the crux of the instructions. You can't buy direct Bitcoin in your TFSA, but you can buy it through an exchange traded fund and then hold Bitcoin directly through that fund. So in the same way there's ETFs, exchange traded funds, for things like gold. You can buy an ETF of gold, and in a sense you're buying into a portion of this fund, and then this fund actually owns physical gold that would be in reserve. Same idea here. There's going to be Bitcoin securely stored somewhere by this fund, and then you buying into the fund own some of that Bitcoin. There are several of these Bitcoin ETFs on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX. One of the first ones was EBIT, EBIT, and they have a 0.75% at fee, so that'd be your annualized fee. You buy in Canadian dollars and exposure to US dollar price of Bitcoin, which means what that means is that the US dollar price, as that price fluctuates, so say the US dollar price of Bitcoin doubles, then your investment in Canadian dollars would also double. That's what that means. There's also another one called the Purpose Bitcoin ETFs that just has a 1% fee. I don't actually use either of these. There's a third one in a moment I'll get to, that's just the one I use. But the Purpose Bitcoin ETFs 1% fee is there's BTCC, which is buying Canadian, and it's like a hedge for US dollars. Or there's btcc.b, buying Canadian, exposure to US dollar price of Bitcoin. So again, this one, if you bought that, would expose you to that US dollar price, that fluctuation. This one in Canadian would be hedged for US dollars, meaning that as the price, your investment would rise or fall with the price of Bitcoin relative to Canadian dollars in this case. But I bought there's a third one, and it's the CI Galaxy Bitcoin ETF with a 0.40% fee. So that's the one I bought just because it has the lowest fee that's available on the market right now. These ones came out first. This one came in sort of undercutting it as a way to gain traction or gain exposure in the marketplace. So a little bit of competitive pricing there, which is good. So this one though, the stock ticker for the CI Galaxy Bitcoin is btcx.b. And this one you buy in Canadian dollars. So that's great as a Canadian, but it has exposure to US dollar price of Bitcoin. So as the US dollar price rises or falls, your investment here rises or falls. And all of these, if you're going to buy them through your broker, I use QUESTRADE, whatever broker you use, and QUESTRADE and others, this would be typical. You would actually type in the symbol btcx.b .to for Toronto, and that would show as you search for it the CI Galaxy Bitcoin ETF, for example. But that's how you can buy it. You can also buy it in your TFSA. You can also buy any of these in your RRSP, so any of these registered accounts. But for me, it's a really great way to buy Bitcoin, and if it does grow well over time, then you don't have to pay any capital gains on that return. For me, Bitcoin is just a small part of my investment portfolio. I would not make it a large portion myself. I wouldn't have enough faith or enough conviction behind it. I have some conviction for a small small portion of my portfolio, but not a very, very large conviction. And I have another slide which sort of explains why is that conviction? Why would you even buy Bitcoin? Why would you consider it as an investment? Very, very quick primer here on why you might consider Bitcoin in your investment fund. So Bitcoin really has no fundamental value, and I say it is not a farm in the sense that it does not meet any physical, direct sort of physical need. And every company or every business that's out there, every asset in a way somehow meets some human need of some sort. Some human need of one kind or another it's going to meet. But Bitcoin, it's sort of meeting, it's not a farm which meets one of those very, very physical fundamental needs of you need food, you eat food. It's very simple to understand. Bitcoin's not meeting that need, but is a more nuanced need, I would say, that humans have, which is to store value. Maybe if they have something valuable, they want to be able to store it in that place, sort of as a battery of value storage, and then retrieve that sort of potential energy of value at some later date. And Bitcoin, it has the potential to do that. And it's sort of, that's what I mean by its value is in its ability to store value. For anything to store value over time, these are kind of my thoughts on what that takes. It must be, so to be sort of a good battery storage, value storage mechanism, it really needs to be rare. It needs to be something rare and difficult to obtain. It needs to be difficult to steal, destroy, or corrupt, and it needs to be liquid and relatively easy to sell to another asset class. So I think if you can meet these three criteria, it can be a very good storage of value. And if you think about gold for this above example, you think gold is rare, difficult to obtain. You literally have to mine it out of the ground. It's difficult to steal. Well, maybe you can steal it, sure, but you can lock it up. But it doesn't rust. It's not going to decay in that way. So it's very easy to maintain. It's kind of like you think about a mint condition baseball card in a very tightly sealed plastic case that could be maintained. You don't get it wet or anything. That can be maintained for a very long time. But gold's even easier than that. It's very, very stable metal and maintains its properties kind of indefinitely. So it's very, very good at this. It's also liquid and relatively easy to sell to another asset class. People have believed in gold for a long time. I've always used gold. You use it for actual manufacturing and jewelry as well. So there are some actual practical uses, but beyond that, people use it as value storage. And so there you kind of have a sort of public confidence now and into the future. It's still going to maintain that. And Bitcoin does all three of these things, I would say, better than gold. It's rare, difficult to obtain. There's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins out there. It's difficult to steal, destroy, corrupt. It's not going to rust away or damage. You could lose it. There's those dangers. But if you just maintain it or keep it somewhere safe, it's not going anywhere. It's just a digital cryptographed item. And it's liquid and relatively easy to sell to another asset class. I would say there is a sort of public momentum behind cryptocurrency and belief that I've seen in the last year or so that I don't think is going away. That I think even if, the price of Bitcoin started to fall and there was a major sell-off, I think people would buy the dip, essentially. People would see that as an opportunity to buy because they're still thinking it's going to go higher. What could be the price target for Bitcoin? I mean, if you think about it, if it was valued the same as all gold worldwide, so there's about all the gold, you add all the gold up worldwide, multiply that by the price of gold, it's worth somewhere about $7.5 trillion. Bitcoin, if you did the math where Bitcoin was worth the same amount of gold, it would be the same amount kind of as gold is. It would be approximately $360,000 per coin. Right now, somewhere at the time of making this video, somewhere around like the $50,000 US per coin. So 360,000, you have about a 7x return on that investment. To me, that is not implausible. That could definitely happen, but it tells you something about possibly where Bitcoin would be headed. But again, it would not be a large part of my portfolio because it doesn't have this really fundamental value. Definitely people could sell it off and convert to another cryptocurrency or another blockchain sort of technology to store value, and they could do that. So it's not delivering that really pure fundamental value that other companies would be doing, which with a great certainty is going to succeed. It's something more nuanced. That's for me why I wouldn't make it as a large part of my portfolio. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you got value out of this. Again, there's that slide that shows what ETFs are available for Canadians right now to buy Bitcoin. I'll put that up here at the end. But if you got value out of this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and remember, it's in the bag. Cheers.